Trump Legal Cases Daily Digest, January 8, 2024. Hi and welcome back to the Hans Daily Digest. This week's focus is on Trump's appeal to the District of Columbia Circuit on presidential immunity and the final arguments to New York civil fraud case. It's important to note that Trump's status on the ballot, as the Republican frontrunner, doesn't impact his ongoing criminal and civil trials. The court schedules are overcrowded with not less than 5 major criminal and civil trials. The irony today is that curious accident that happened to Judge Chutkan. Stay tuned for updates on these legal developments. Trump files motions to dismiss Georgia charges, citing presidential immunity and constitutional protections. In a series of motions filed on Monday, former President Donald Trump has requested a Georgia judge to dismiss felony racketeering charges against him, arguing that the criminal election subversion case violates presidential immunity, double jeopardy, and due process protections. Trump, who has frequently asserted presidential immunity in various legal battles, is expected to attend a federal appeals court hearing in Washington, D.C., on Tuesday, addressing a similar immunity claim in a separate criminal case related to his actions following the 2020 election loss. The Georgia filings echo the presidential immunity argument presented in the D.C. case, emphasizing an unbroken historical tradition of presidential immunity rooted in the Constitution's separation of powers. Trump's attorneys stated, from 1789 to 2023, no president ever faced criminal prosecution for acts committed while in office. Additionally, Trump contends that the charges violate his constitutional right against double jeopardy, referencing his impeachment after the Capitol attack. A third filing claims prosecutors in Fulton County, Georgia, violated his due process and First Amendment rights, arguing that Trump's political speech challenging an election should not be criminalized. Trump's attorney, Stephen Sadow, called the motions meritorious. The legal maneuvers illustrate Trump's consistent reliance on the presidential immunity defense. In response to previous immunity claims, federal appeals courts rejected Trump's arguments in civil cases involving the January 6 riot and a defamation case filed by writer E. Jean Carroll. Trump is expected to testify at Carroll's trial, set to begin on January 16 in New York, where he faces accusations of sexual abuse and defamation. Despite these legal challenges, Trump maintains his denial of all allegations, attributing them to political motives by prosecutors and the plaintiffs. Trump faces crucial legal battle on presidential immunity ahead of 2024 election kickoff. As the 2024 presidential election season approaches, former President Donald Trump faces a convergence of legal and political challenges. His lawyers are set to argue before a federal appeals court in Washington, D.C., asserting that he is immune from prosecution for actions taken while in office. This pivotal moment precedes the Iowa Republicans' first in the nation presidential caucuses. Should Trump disagree with the appeals court decision, he may escalate the case to the U.S. Supreme Court, potentially impacting the election. Trump's legal troubles include 91 criminal charges across federal and state indictments, civil suits, and uncertainties about his name on primary ballots in Colorado and Maine. Despite this, polls indicate a commanding lead for Trump in the Republican presidential primary. The highly polarized political climate and Trump's ability to frame legal challenges as political persecution contribute to his sustained support among GOP voters. Key oral arguments regarding Trump's immunity are scheduled for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Trump's legal team argues that the Constitution prevents criminal prosecution for a president's official acts, emphasizing a historical tradition of not prosecuting presidents. Critics, including former Trump administration White House Special Counsel Ty Cobb, argue against this claim, deeming it misguided. Trump's adept use of legal challenges as campaign fodder further strengthens his base. Fundraising pitches and campaign material frequently reference the prosecutions, portraying them as baseless attempts to undermine his movement. The Supreme Court's consideration of the question of presidential immunity adds uncertainty to Trump's legal and campaign calendars. While Trump maintains a significant lead in the Republican primary, the general election could be influenced by even a slight shift among swing voters. The upcoming early state nominating contests will provide crucial insights into the race's dynamics. Trump's legal battles, including trials related to election interference, mishandling classified documents, and civil cases, continue to unfold, with potential implications for his political future. In Trump's legal crosshairs, battling presidential immunity on 2 fronts. Former President Donald Trump has confirmed his attendance at the Washington, D.C. Court of Appeals hearing on Tuesday, where arguments will be presented regarding his efforts to dismiss the federal election interference case based on his claim of presidential immunity. Trump asserts that he is entitled to absolute immunity for actions taken while in office. In a social media post, he stated, "Of course I was entitled, as President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief, to immunity. I wasn't campaigning, the election was long over. I was looking for voter fraud. Special counsel Jack Smith had previously sought Supreme Court intervention to expedite the appeals process, emphasizing the historic nature of the case, stating, "This case involves, for the first time in our nation's history, criminal charges against a former president based on his actions while in office." Trump faces charges of orchestrating a criminal scheme to overturn the 2020 election results, including allegations of using fake electors and promoting false claims of a stolen election. Despite pleading not guilty and denouncing the charges as a persecution of a political opponent, Trump continues to contest the cases on immunity grounds. This week might see Trump attending 2 court appearances, as, in addition to the Washington, D.C. hearing, he is expected to be present at the closing arguments in his civil fraud trial in New York on Thursday. The former president's legal team is actively seeking the dismissal of the federal election interference case, emphasizing his claim of immunity from prosecution for actions taken while fulfilling his presidential duties. Trump's main legal chess, strategizing ballot access amidst Capitol attack fallout. Former President Donald Trump has urged a Maine state judge to temporarily halt proceedings related to his ballot access, seeking time for the U.S. Supreme Court to rule on a similar case from Colorado. The request comes after Maine Secretary of State Sheena Bellows, a Democrat, utilized Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to bar Trump from running for president due to his alleged involvement in the January 6, 2021, Capitol attack. Trump's legal team contends that the issues in the Colorado case, where he was removed from the ballot by the state Supreme Court, align with those in Maine and could be decisive for both. In a historic move, Bellows became the first Secretary of State to invoke Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which prohibits individuals who engaged in insurrection from holding office. The U.S. Supreme Court has scheduled arguments on the Colorado case, prompting Trump's lawyers to request a pause in the Maine proceedings. The 14th Amendment Section 3, rarely invoked since the post-Civil War era, will be examined by the Supreme Court for the first time, addressing whether those who participated in insurrection can be barred from holding office without a 2/3 vote of Congress. The unfolding legal drama involves Republicans expressing discontent over Bellows' decision, with a proposed impeachment resolution by a Maine House Republican lawmaker. Despite the uproar, Democrats, who control both legislative chambers, make any impeachment attempt a challenging prospect. Bellows, confident in her decision, considers the impeachment effort political theater and affirms her trust in the rule of law. The Maine court proceedings are temporarily on hold, awaiting further litigation outcomes. Swatting incident targets judge presiding over Trump's election case. In a concerning turn of events, an apparent swatting incident targeted U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, who is presiding over the criminal case charging former President Donald Trump with attempting to overturn the 2020 election. On Sunday night, police responded to a false shooting report at Judge Chutkan's residence, part of a disturbing trend where individuals make hoax emergency calls to provoke police responses. The incident underscores the heightened security concerns surrounding judges, with a Texas woman previously arrested for threatening Judge Chutkan's life in August. The false shooting report adds to the growing number of threats against judges nationally, signaling a worrisome trend. Despite the unsettling incident, Judge Chutkan remained unharmed, and there was no evidence of any ongoing danger at her home. The incident occurred just before a federal appeals court is set to hear an appeal by Trump, who seeks to dismiss election-related charges based on his claim of immunity. Special counsel Jack Smith contends that Trump, acting as a candidate, orchestrated a multifaceted conspiracy to impede the election results, culminating in the January 6, 2021, Capitol attack. The case has been temporarily halted due to the appeal, potentially impacting the scheduled March 4 trial start. This incident sheds light on the broader issue of threats against judicial figures, particularly those involved in high-profile cases. The swatting incident serves as a stark reminder of the challenges faced by judges in politically charged cases, and it coincides with the ongoing legal battles Trump confronts as he aims to regain the presidency amid multiple criminal prosecutions this year. Thanks for watching. If you like it, comment and hit the like and share buttons. Subscribe for future videos.